Yeah, I may end up changing that setting because it's been kind of wonky, and so I may just go back to like manually doing it. Also, like at the beginning, if I'm here and other people aren't or whatever, then there's just like this random amount of silence at the beginning. So I may end up just like changing that back or having you change it back. Sorry, I'm just checking in on something in Heartbeat. Um, because we had some new people join the membership. Okay. There were some people that messaged about joining, and I sent them a message about it. So I'm not exactly sure if they're going to come, but we can go ahead and dive in. Um, okay. So something that I want to play around with today, and that we'll continue to do trainings over this for um, the next few weeks or so. But a lot of people had dropped in Heartbeat that they wanted a training around clients finding them without marketing. And I want to do a training over this and get really clear on it because I think this is like a really, really important thing that not only do I want to give you a training on it, but also I want to deep dive into it because there's some nuanced things around this, especially within the manifestation community that I really, really want to bring some attention to. So let's dive in. Let's see. I'm just exiting out of this and so I can bring up. Okay. Okay. I have no idea why this is looking so weird, but that's okay. So the thing that I really want, and actually, the thing that um, and Krista, remind me I to talk to you about people coming in and out at the hi. Hi Zuzu, how are you? Just remind me to talk to you about that for a setting like coming in and out of Zoom. Anyways, okay, let's dive in. So I want you guys to get really, really, really clear on why this is something that you even desire, right? So, why do you want clients to find you without marketing? The reason that we desire anything, we want or desire anything, is because of the way it will make us feel and or the experience it will give us. And once you start realizing that, once you start understanding the motivation for why we do the things we do, there's going to be a whole world open up to everybody because you're going to start understanding why you do the things you do and why you avoid doing the things that you avoid doing, right? And that's why I bring the neuroscience and the grounded action into this because manifestation is powerful. But you guys have heard me say it over and over and over again. It's not sustainable to just sit back and manifest a multiple six, seven figure business. It's just not how it works, right? We do have to be in action. And so I think there's a really like double edged sword of people, saying, hey, I want to manifest this. And it doesn't mean that we can't get really good at it. It doesn't mean that we can't call it into our experience, but the amount of change work, the amount of alignment work, the amount of everything that you would need to do to get that to happen on demand over and over and over again would be the same amount, if not more, that you would just do to market. So I want to get really clear. Why would you even want people to find you without marketing, to clients find you without marketing? And I know what some of your answers will be because some of you have been in my world and that's a big thing is people find me all the time without me marketing. People hired me walking down the street. That's a big part of my brand and what I experience. Yeah, it's It's crazy. And and I'm going to teach you guys how. We're going to get into that. But at the beginning, I think it's the first thing is getting clear on why we want it. And the second thing is getting, getting clear on why we want it, but also understanding this double-edged sword of that, the manifestation community kind of telling us that we can manifest whatever we want, but it not being sustainable and actually causing a lot more stress to our nervous systems, which ironically make us less magnetic. Because really what this boils down to is being magnetic. And we're going to dive into that in a minute. So if you guys could get really clear on why, and if that's not a desire of yours, if a desire of yours is not for clients to find you without marketing, then substitute with ease, right? Because a lot of people in my community, and that is also a big part of my brand, is doing things with ease, making money with ease, signing on clients with ease. So we want to get clear on why you want it, right? So drop it in the chat if that feels aligned, because this is only going to make sense if you know and I know why you want it, right? And if you don't want to share, that's okay. But know that this part of the training, like, it helps me guide you guys through it when I have a better understanding of why. Yeah, without marketing and ease. But why do you want that? So there's going to be a story that your brain tells you, and it might just be like, I'm busy. I don't want to deal with it. I see other people do it, and that's what I want. There's going to be the story that your brain tells you, which is going to be like what I like to call like the surface. And that's not like to be rude or anything like that. It's just not the actual thing, right? Like literally it's the surface, because I suck at marketing. And we're going to dive into that too, right? We're going to dive into that as well. But just getting really, really clear on why we want that. Why do we want it to be easy? Why do we want clients to find us without marketing? I just want to have systems so I don't have to post every day. Good to notice. And I mean, the guys, the good thing is that systems are easy. Strategy is easy. Like you can Google a strategy, you can get systems in place. Like that's not the hard part. The hard part is getting your brain and body on board, and all parts of you on board, and into like your brain and body into alignment, and all parts of you on board with what you desire, right? And once you do that, and there's no fear and there's no concern with safety on the other side of it, which we're going to dive into as well, you will clearly see, oh, this is the system I need, right? I like marketing. That's my career background. Okay, good to know. I'm glad. So I love that you're here because you might have a different perspective on this. Right. And we are gonna do that today. We're gonna do some stuff around being magnetic and calling that into our experience, because really what this boils down to is us becoming magnetic. But sorry, there's a B. But what being magnetic boils down to is us feeling safe and worthy to experience the things on the other side of it, whether that's, more clients or more money or more success, whatever that looks like, right? Bees are a good sign. Oh my gosh, I love that. Thank you. I was like, I love bees, but I was just like, please don't sting me. So we become magnetic, and once we feel safe and worthy and all the other things to experience what we want, that's how you become magnetic. But I want to show you what your brain will tell you versus what's actually going on, right? So once you guys are kind of clear on that, and another thing that I would do is I would just drop the deeper desire, right? So I'm hearing a lot of ease. So you may just want your business to feel easeful, right? It may be freedom. I don't want to be tied to my phone all day. I don't want to post every day. It may be power, but not like it's healthy integrated power, empowerment. A lot of people want big businesses because they want the power that it comes with. And that's not to say this unhealthy, egotistic power. I mean, the power to know that you can make the things happen that you desire, to call in the money that you desire, to have the influence that you desire, right? And just notice if there's ever resistance around the word power. I did a whole container around this, because a lot of people have a lot of resistance towards the word power, but really it's just like ego. People have a lot of resistance around the word ego, but a healthy integrated ego is actually a good thing. It's the thing that tells us not to jump on the bridge that everybody's jumping off of, or hey, don't do that. Like that's not safe or that's not good, right? We want healthy integrated ego, just like we want healthy integrated power. I think part of being human is desiring that. So just noticing if there's any resistance towards the word power, right? So I would get really clear. And also for this call, because I'm going to help you install what you want with this feeling. So what is the feeling and or experience that you're looking for and that you desire? So I'm hearing a lot of ease, flow. You guys know those are two big of my things, like ease and flow. I like things to be easy. I like things to be fluid. But that also doesn't mean that I don't have to like be in my business and market it. Like, yes, I am like, I would say like an attraction queen, but I still have to be mindful of that because there's a few of you on here. Oh, I think just one of you that I have I was diagnosed with an autoimmune. I don't say I have it, but I was diagnosed with that, and it does still come out every once in a while. For the most part, I have it under control, but this week has been a rough week for it. And so that causes me to not want to show up in my business because I'm really tired and I don't feel well and I don't feel like eating. And then I'm even more tired. And so making sure that I have a system in place that I can sign on clients and attract them in even when I don't feel magnetic, because we don't have to walk around being magnetic all the time. Being magnetic really just means that we are being authentically ourselves, and the people, our right people, will find us either way and actually find solace in that and say, wow, like she gets me because she experiences that. I think a lot of people come into my world with anxiety and or nervous system dysregulation or autoimmune because that's part of my story, right? And good, I'm glad that's validating. I'm glad because I think that's the number one step for us is to just validate, the things that we wonder about or that we're curious about or things that we may even have judgment around, right? Okay, so just keep that in mind because we're going to circle back around to it. But like the feeling that you desire, and I really want you to think about this really quick. I want you to think about everything that you really truly desire. And I guarantee you that almost all of the things that you desire actually have a similar feeling and sensation with them. And I don't necessarily mean emotion because our brains actually will interpret feelings as an emotion. I mean sensations. And I guarantee you almost all of them are similar. And I really want you to think about that. And I want you to understand that everything that you do and don't do is literally a direct reflection of what you're trying to feel, what you're trying to experience. This is just the brain body connection, how it works. Okay. So things to keep in mind: freedom, ease, flow, security, power, anything like that. Like is it that you're desiring? Because we want to attach what it is that you want to the feeling. We're going to do that later. So thumbs up or just drop in the chat if everybody has their deeper desired feeling underneath wanting clients to find you without marketing. And if that's not something for you, then it may be with ease, right? So just let me know that you guys have that because we need that to circle back around to the change work we're going to do. So let me know. Yeah, yeah, and we've talked about that, right? That being a part of it. The most friction right now, working on in progress. I love that for you. Validation and security. Yeah. And obviously I know that's a big one for you. I need to have the back end. Right. Right. And so maybe for you, it's just ease, right? Like you're searching for ease, or maybe you're searching. A lot of times when I hear the word hold, it's kind of similar to capacity. It might just be space, right? Like actual space. And Heather's on this call, and she security. Okay, that's a good one. She had said we had a session in November, and a lot of that was around her letting go of things that were really unaligned. And guys, the unaligned stuff in our life will take up so much more space than the aligned stuff. So when you look at that person that's doing the things you want, whether it's 10K months, 5K months, 100K months, or maybe they just have a lot of ease and flow, maybe they attract in clients really easily, whatever it is, I guarantee you on the other side of that is because they've let go of unaligned things. Exactly. Exactly. So being mindful of that, of like, maybe it's spaciousness that I desire, right? Finding the hierarchy. A lot of times there's a hierarchy, like security. I would say security and freedom and power, like my top three, but there is a hierarchy. Like, I think for me, just with my background, safety is such a big thing for me. If I don't feel safe, I will not allow myself to experience things because I have a background with trauma and my nervous system, right? So I'm mindful of that. So just being mindful of all these things. The second thing I want you to look at is this is the another part of the equation. I would say the two biggest parts of the equation are going to be what you actually desire, what you're actually, because the truth is your brain is telling you that you want something, but it's really just the manifestation of the experience that you want. So I experience ease and flow, or I experience more space, or I desire to experience more space. And it's telling you, it's showing up as a way of like, oh, well, I don't want to market for my clients, right? The other side of this is what the fear. Yeah, right. Good to notice the fear. Okay. This is the recipe to get anything you want. You got to work the fear for the misunderstanding, and you have to work with the desired feeling. Okay. So, what is the deeper fear of not wanting to market? Is it taking up too much space? Is it being seen or not seen? Or maybe not seen would be not validated, right? I'm putting myself out there. People are seeing me, but they're not buying. I don't feel seen or heard. Maybe it's a fear of what's on the other side. Well, I'm really good at marketing. So if I get on there and I market, people are going to buy, and then I'm going to have to hold them, and I don't have the space to hold. Get really clear on what your fear is. Yeah. So I can go ahead and tell you that's a part of it. You have to work these things because your brain is literally wired for safety. So anything that it perceives as unsafe will flag your body and be like, hey, something's wrong. And your body will have sensations. And these sensations are what keep you from moving forward, right? So get clear on your fear, and just there might be more than one, but for this call, let's just work with one. So the fear on the other side of it. And it might be the other side. So it might be, the actual success and money and clients, but it also just might be, I don't like to be visible. I don't want to be visible and then not validated. I don't want people to judge me. Right. Like for me, a big fear of mine is anytime I'm visible, I sell my stuff. And with somebody that has autoimmune or has these like flare ups, I get nervous. So for me, I knew that having a team and a back end to support that when I have weeks where, like this week, where I've had a rough week, and making sure that I was supported. And I know that that's a part of my fear. I know that's a part of holding me back. And so I get nervous about showing up because I actually have a lot of success on the other side of it. And that's my own thing to work. Sometimes it's success, sometimes it's actually like the fear of like people judging you. I mean, I don't like to be judged. I don't think anybody does, but it doesn't really bother me that much anymore. So I don't really think that's part of mine, but you guys get clear on what yours is. And just kind of let me know if you guys have it. You can thumbs up or drop it in the chat, because we're gonna do some tapping. And then I think starting next week, we're gonna see how it goes for this week. And then next week we're gonna do like some visualization and like neuro linguistic programming over it, because I'm playing around with doing the same thing in different ways. So like doing, my process versus NLP or hypnosis versus doing visualization, because it all kind of, all the change work is the same to get you into alignment. It's just some people tend to respond better to others. So I like kind of doing a lot of different things with you guys and kind of seeing what works. And it also helps you guys know, hey, tapping really works for me. This type of visualization really works for me. This type of NLP process really works for me. That also helps you guys do your own work, right? So just drop it in the chat. Let me know what you think your fear is of marketing. And maybe you don't have a fear of marketing. Maybe you're like, nope, that's not a thing for me. And that's cool too. But just let me know where you guys are at. And I want to be very, very clear is that the only reason marketing feels hard or feels like something you don't want to do is literally only because there's a fear on the other side of it. And your brain will not, like, it'll tell you a bunch of stories about it, and then it won't allow you to access the path of least resistance, right? And any of you that are in my one-to-one containers, you know this, like I'm all about the path of least resistance. And you'll see that when you get your brain and body on board with what you want, meaning there's no fear there anymore, you're like, oh, actually the next step is really, really simple. How did I not see that before? Well, because your brain didn't let you. It didn't allow you to access that information because it didn't perceive what it knew would happen on the other side is safe, right? Really can hold it. Good. Good. Yeah, I love that for you. Making money is easy. Good. Okay. That I put in all the work and it doesn't work. Yeah. So for that one, that's a really interesting one. So if you put in all the work and it doesn't work, what does that mean about you? Because there is something underneath it. It's not actually that. That's just what your brain is telling you. It's actually more like, you know, there's something else there. And a lot of times, like putting in a lot of work and not seeing it is like a maybe like a validation thing. Yeah, success really can hold it all. Making money is easy. So get clear on that, right? That's going to be like a lot of times, and I want everybody on this call to be very, very clear is that a lot of times our brain will tell us something and it's valid. It's like, oh, well, I have this fear that I'm going to put in all this work and it doesn't work. But that's not actually the fear. That's just your cute little brain trying to keep you distracted from the actual fear. So get clear. It's like, well, is it because I don't want to be seen and not validated, or is it I don't like being judged, or like what does it mean about you if you do a lot of work? A lot of people have the story of I'm doing it wrong. Space, validate, judgment. Good to notice, right? Good to notice. Okay. So now once you have the deeper desire underneath it and the fear, we're going to move into want versus desire. And we're layering in a lot of things today. And if it seems like a lot, that's okay, because we're going to continue to work on this for the next few weeks, because I think this is a really important thing that comes up a lot for people. Okay. So want versus desire. Some of you know this because I talk about it a lot, but I want to revisit this because a lot of times people come into my world and they say, I want this. And it feels so hard. It feels like they're pushing a boulder up a hill because it's a want and not a desire. And those are very, very, very different energies. One is actually what you desire versus probably what your mom told you or what the world told you or whatever, or just because you should, out of this almost like ego state of like, well, I should have it because I should, or because I work hard or whatever. Okay. So I want you to get really clear on, do you actually desire clients to find you without marketing? Do you actually desire to have clients find you with ease? Because the truth is your desires are intelligent. And if that was actually a desire, you would have it if you're working the fear on the other side. That's the truth. Our desires are intelligent. You would not have them if you could not achieve them. Or is it, well, I want it because I see other people attracting in people and that's what I want? Notice what part of you wants it versus desires it. Oh, so that's a really good problem to have, right? So you know your stuff. And yes, I hear the back end for you for sure, because I'm the same way. Like space and capacity is such a big thing for me, but also doing that inner work around that, right? Because when we feel like we have more space internally, and actually I was just talking about this with somebody on this call actually about private clients and how if we're not doing our work, they can trigger us and it makes it feel like they're taking up so much more space. um so it's to make sure that we do that inner work to not feel triggered or whatever. I don't know if that's like the right terminology, but to feel like if you ever have been on like client calls and like you've had a client that feels like really hard to hold, or if you've had a very like I've had traumatic experiences. I mean, not super traumatic, but I've had hard clients to hold. And that especially for people that already feel they're at capacity or already feel like like they like for me, I'm very feelings oriented, so I have to be very mindful about how things feel, right? But it's also my job to do my work around that, right? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Activated, right? Traumatic. Yeah. So really think about that. So I want you to get clear, and I want you to get clear on like what you desire versus what you want, because sometimes people come to my world and say, I want like consistent 10K months. Cool. Let's do the numbers on it. How many clients does that equal? And like maybe they only have one-to-one to clients and they're like, how much does that equal? But they can't hold the amount of clients. So then it's like, well, how do they get there? And that just requires some nervous system regulation and some working of like their product suite. But like, I want you guys to start getting really clear on like why your brain is telling you you want something even though there's another part of you that's like deathly afraid of it or doesn't want it at all. And to really lean in and surrender to that and to allow that to be your truth. Your body does not lie to you. Your brain, unfortunately, is adorable and so cute and will tell you all the stories. And it's seeky and selfie and it will tell you things that aren't true. But your body doesn't lie. So when you've got situations like this where people are always coming in, but you're keeping them at bay, you know, that's very clear. There's a capacity thing there. Yeah. So I'm scared of attracting those types of people again, for sure. And if you don't spend the time to relinquish that fear, like notice how that fear feels in your body. How could your brain not perceive that as dangerous or like a red flag? And that's what keeps you from like moving forward. Like think about sensationally how that feels in your body, right? Do you mean a desire like wanting to buy land or house of storage desire, then asking myself, is it a desire or want? Okay, so here's the best way that I would explain it. Desire is like very grounded. It feels calming to the nervous system. It feels like kind of exciting, but not overly excited. It feels just like almost like sensual. Like there's just very like flowy sensual vibe to it. Want is very 2 year old hectic frantic energy. I want it because I want it. I want it because I work hard. I want it because I see XYZ coach over there having it and I want that. And a lot of times this is stemming from an ego. It's stemming from needing to prove yourself, stemming from um needing to be better. Notice the difference because a lot of people come into my world and they'll say, oh, I want this, but they actually mean what? They don't mean desire. And there is a difference, right? I know, right? And we guys, we've all been there. Like this is not to shame game anybody. We're just getting clear on the way that we experience the world so we can start using this to our advantage instead of working against it, right? Oh, hi Margot. Margot's new. So I just saw that she came in. So hi Margot. Welcome. Let's see. Still active super right now. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Okay. And Renee said it perfectly. She said, I really feel like my wants have been so childish and taking the driver's seat. So, exactly that childlike 2 year old energy. If that comes into play with your goals, that is not a true desire. That is a want, and they are very different. And there's a different reason, or that's the reason. So then back off, back down from it and say, okay, what do I actually desire? So, for example, if somebody's going for like 10, 20, those higher cash months, a lot of times they haven't, like this happens a lot in my world. People come into my world, they quantum leap. Then what happens is they might go back down because they're telling themselves the story of it's not good enough, it's not good enough, it's not good enough. And they keep like pushing, like, I need to do more, I need to do better, I need to prove. This is not desire, it's want. And so when people come into my world and they say, I really, really want this, well, the truth is that if all parts of you, I know this is confusing because like I try to be mindful of how I speak, but like when I'm marketing or talking, sometimes I say want, but I mean desire, right? And so they'll say, I want this. And the truth is that if all parts of you really wanted it, you would have it and you would allow yourself to experience it and you wouldn't block it. Okay. So that's number three. So number one is why, the deeper desire. Why do you want clients to find you without marketing? Right? Ease, flow, freedom. Why? Or if you don't want them to find you without marketing, it might be finding clients finding you with ease, right? Getting clear on the deeper desire. The next is getting clear on the fear of why you don't want to market. Because guys, the truth is we are business owners. Everybody on this call is a business owner. Like part of marketing is a part of it. Now there's different types of marketing. There's affiliate marketing. We can pay somebody to market. We can pay somebody to do blogs. Like there's a million ways to market. Like I'm a talker, so I do a lot of videos. I do a lot of podcasts. I do a lot of lives because that's my way of lead generation, right? But I mean, we have to get clear. And I always find it like interesting when business owners come to me and say, I don't want to market. Well, we have to market. Doesn't mean that we can't be so magnetic that people fall into our world. People fall into my world all the time. People sign up to the membership that have never even talked to me, that we don't even follow the same people, and they find me and buy. Like it happens all the time in my world. And I'm going to teach you guys how to do that and on this call and on the next one. But I just want you guys to start seeing why you're where you're currently at. Because if I'm only doing this change work with you and I'm not explaining to you why there's a problem, You're going to keep repeating it. Maybe not in this cycle because I'm going to teach you how to become magnetic with money and clients, but it might show up somewhere else in your life with different things because it's a pattern. It's how your brain and body communicate, right? It's the nervous system. I went 6,000 months of selling one course a day consistently. Okay, gotcha. That example, 2-year-old makes total sense. Okay, good. I'm glad. Okay. All right. So now on a scale from 1 to 10, so guys, just take a breath. We're gonna answer these questions on a scale from 1 to 10, and we're gonna do it from our body. And if you have a lot of resistance to this, you can mark down, like especially if you have a pen and paper, what your body is saying versus your brain. Because the truth is we want your body and your brain on board, but 9 times out of 10, it's the body that's the issue, not the brain. Sometimes that's not the case, but most of the time it is. So when I ask you guys to answer these questions, it's always from your body. Don't, like, we spend so much time in our heads talking to our brains. Our brains are adorable, but again, they can lie to us. They're stealthy. We want to listen to our body. Our body doesn't lie. Actually, I'll show you guys right now. I'll show you right now what I mean by this. Take a deep breath and say, my name is, and say your name out loud. My name is Farron. Do you feel like it's expansive almost? It feels like this, right? Now say, my name is Heather. You feel this like contraction, right? Do you guys feel the difference in this? Your body doesn't lie. It just doesn't, you know? And okay, there is a caveat. If you do have severe trauma, which, you know, I'm trauma trained, I don't take on trauma clients anymore, but there is a caveat here. But for me, I'm so well trained that I'll catch it. Like, even if I have a session with somebody and I'm watching their body language, I'll catch it. But and even then, it doesn't lie. It's just, I think when we've had severe trauma that we choose not to believe our bodies because it's easier to like disassociate or not be fully present in our bodies. It's not that our body's lying. It's just, you know, that's our coping mechanism, right? So did everybody see the difference? I want to show you guys, right? Do you feel the difference? Yeah, right, right. Yes, yes. But our bodies have so much wisdom. So when we learn to bring this into the manifestation game and the attraction game and the magnetic game, it's next fucking level, right? Yeah. And our clients are so like, client mirror my mom. Yeah. I've had that exact pattern. Like, it's been a few years now. I think 2020 when I first started doing this work. I mean, I've been doing this work for a long time, but specifically this type of work, I had a client like that mirrored the codependent dynamic of me and my mom. And so this is a really good example, guys, of like, that was just inviting me to clear something that was no longer serving me and that was stuck in my body and playing out. And so it wasn't just my mom that I had a codependent dynamic with. It was a lot of things that I had codependent dynamic, but I couldn't pin it until I started mapping it from the sensations in my body of like, where does the sensation show up? Oh, wow, it always shows up in codependent dynamics. Okay, cool. So if you start to reframe it, if you start to really look at that of like, oh, these sensations, oh, these mirrors, oh, these cycles are literally just invitations for me to clear what's actually not true and or outdated, it's actually a good thing, right? But it can be hard. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's not always fun, right? Especially when we're doing this type of work and we've got our clients triggering it. But you know, the good news is we are in control and we can clear that, right? Okay, so you guys are clear as if you want that and you desire it. So now on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being yes, how much do you desire clients finding you without marketing? 10 being yes. Answer from your body, drop it in the chat. Amazing. Good to notice. Good to notice. Okay. All right. How much do you want clients to find you without marketing? 10 being yes, listen to your body. Good. Renee, ask yourself why. Why is there a difference in that number? Interesting. Interesting. I love how this is like a 10 for everybody, but desire was a little bit low. So for all of you guys, like, I know your brain wants it. So get clear, right? Get clear on like, why is that different? Body doesn't desire it that much. And why do you think it is? Is it like kind of that proving thing? Is it like, oh, well, my brain wants it because like I should have it, right? Just getting clear. Yeah. Yeah. And that's okay. That is totally okay for our brain or whatever other part of us to want ease. Like that's my whole foundation of my business, right? And like my what I teach you guys. It's okay. But getting clear on like again why we our brains tell us what we want is what we want. Okay, the next question is how possible is it for clients to find you without marketing? 10 being yes. How possible is it for clients to find you without marketing? Okay, so we're already starting to see like a clear picture of like what needs to be worked on, right? Okay. How likely is it that clients will find you without marketing? 10 being yes. Good to know this. Okay. How much are you allowing clients to find you without marketing? Right, I know. Okay, guys, so if your number is low, ask yourself why. That is an internal thing that we need to handle. If your number was high on the last one, like Krista, I know yours was low on those first ones and high on this one. That is more a strategy thing, right? So we're already starting to get clear on like who needs what support. Like, okay, this really is the strategy side. I need a strategy. This really is the internal side. And again, strategy is the easy part. We can find strategy with no problem. There's a million strategies. It's just allowing ourselves to be on board with our strategy and just letting it be easy that we can just like find a strategy and allow it to work, right? A lot of like, and you can ask my private clients this, they'll all tell you this. The hardest thing for them is allowing it to be easy. They literally spend so much energy and effort making it hard because they literally can't. It's like it can't just be this easy, right? I know. And they'll have these high cash months and then they make it hard on themselves because they have this belief it just can't be that easy, which is hilarious when you see it over and over and over again in your private clients, right? Okay. So then the next question is, how much are you allowing yourself to have the experience of clients find you without marketing? And just notice the difference here. So 10's a yes on this. Just notice the difference here. How much are you allowing yourself to experience the experience of like clients finding you without marketing? Interesting. I wonder why that's different than what I just said. One of them was literally just the experience, and one was literally just like allowing. Was it the allowing part? Like start getting clear because these words, right? So when we start tapping, we're going to use these words. Like if you have a trouble with allowing, right? We're gonna tap on allowing. If you have trouble with um or if you like for example have the deeper desire of freedom, these are the words and the sensations that you want to work with. This is literally the lens of which you see the world. And so that's why I'm always asking these questions so you guys get really clear on what your stories are and what the resistance is around. Okay. So the next one, and guys, let me be clear here. I answer these or I ask these questions in a very ambiguous way for a reason. So it's just trust the flow and trust whatever your body says and try not to overthink it. How magnetic are you being right now? Answer from your body. 10 being, yep, being magnetic. I love that for you. Are you feeling more magnetic since yesterday? I'm curious. I hope so. Ask again. Brain's like, right. Okay. How magnetic are you being right now? And that's okay. And you can actually like tell your brain, and like when you get off this call, you can do some work with your brain. Our brains are actually easier to work with a little bit, like maybe doing some parts work or something. But if your body is telling you yes, and that's just a brain thing, like you can get really clear on like why, right? Like our brain is a little easier to peel back. It's not as Like our bodies, like they don't lie for sure. But a lot of times like our like when we know why our brain is telling us the story it's telling us, it's a lot easier to work. It's not so like undercover, if that makes sense. Okay. How magnetic are you being right now? Yeah. I'm making everything a bit out of touch. Like there's another thing on my to-do list. I think it's good to notice. Okay, cool. Um, how magnetic are you being in your business right now? 10 being yes. How magnetic are you being in your business right now? I love that almost all of you guys have the same number. Okay. So since you guys, okay, good to notice. Luckily, we have our one-to-one tomorrow. But for those of you, well, actually, all of you, ask yourself what you need to do to go to the next number. And Krista, this is a big one for you because this is a desire for you. Like, oh, I want clients to find me without marketing. But that's really tied into being magnetic. So we got to get really, really clear on like where the block is, you know? Yep. Yep. Yes. Be big. But from healthy integrated space, not prove yourself to your old energy space. You already know, right? You already know. Yeah. Yeah. And that's fair. But I mean, we all start somewhere. Think about every person on this call. We all started somewhere where people didn't know we existed. And I would say, I don't know what your all's experience was, but when I first started doing this work, I mean, my first month was a 5-figure month. There, like, and I don't really market. I think, I mean, I'll be honest, I think my personality plays a role in that. And I've had, you know, like my first job was a high level position at the Pentagon. Like I have a lot of clout with people. So I think I automatically have a little bit of like edge with as far as like trust goes. But but that doesn't mean that you can't learn how to have that same thing. Like I want you to think about any time that you've made an investment, especially a large one, and if it was a service, and I want you to think about why you made that investment and how that person made you feel. It is almost never the actual like that service they're selling. It's them plus the results they're saying they're going to get you, right? But and so many of you on this call have been in containers with other service providers, whether it was a coach or whatever service provider, and you get in and it is what they said it would be, but it's not what you thought it would be, right? And a lot of us make like buying decisions based on how much we like somebody or how much they resonate with us. And think about that. Like think about like we actually had the buyer psychology on this of how much we make investments based on that. So that's not to say that all of you become Farron. It's how do you be the most magnetic version of you? So your people can find you. Your people are not my people and vice versa, right? Yeah, to buy. I bought quickly. You're magnetic. Oh, thank you. Yeah, and you've even. I need to post this. I've been putting all of my like client testimonials because I have like literally like hundreds. It's insane that I don't even post about. And one of them was you telling me that you just sent it to me in my inbox like randomly and just said, "Hey, like, um, I want to work with you." Um, and you said it was something to like you saw something and then you saw my stories and then you just it was so fast and it was like at least a $500 or $600 investment. I think the first thing that you bought with me, right? And she had never talked to me before ever. These things happen. They do. And I want to show you how they can be for you, but you have to get off this idea that I like that I'm you don't have the misunderstanding that I'm different. That's not what I'm saying. That you get to be your own version of magnetic. So, okay, so now on a scale from 1 to 10, how safe does it feel for you to be magnetic? 10 being yes. Good. How safe does it feel for you to be magnetic? 10 being yes. Okay, girl, why? 6. We got to work on that number. How safe does it feel, right? How much do you believe that you can be magnetic? 10 being yes. Good. How much do you believe that being magnetic can get you clients with ease? 10 being yes. Yeah, but I think that's just because if you go back to talk, and it doesn't have to always be subconscious reprogramming, but whatever it is that you love talking about, that's a part of the magnetism. Like, I love what I do. I love telling you guys how to hack your reality and how to use brain body connection and neuroscience to get what you want. Like, I love the work that I do. I think that's part of why I'm so magnetic, right? So, guys, go back to if you ever get lost and confused, go back to the basics of why you do the things you do. Like Krista has like a business where she does VA and online business management. So like her story is going to be different. But if she really loves to be of service and help people, maybe that's her love language. Like think about how much she helps me, which then I get to turn around and help you guys because I have more space because she's taken that off my plate. And Krista knows, she sees the struggle. She hears my day to day and week to week. I'm not feeling well. I'm not eating well. I'm, at the doctor and it's going too late and la 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 la. She sees it and she sees how much she takes off my plate. So can you ground into that action of like, wow, like, because that will make you magnetic. Learning how to ground back into why you do the things you do, right? That also will never lead you astray. So let's just get really, really curious. Does everybody have a piece of paper? I want you guys to like write this down because we're going to flow into this from next week. And I'll drop it in the replay because we might not get to any of the change work today, but that's okay. I might drop like a quick training and so you guys can like go through it, or we might do some quick tapping. We've got some time to do some tapping, but I want you guys to just write it down. Okay. Clients finding me without marketing / with ease. Number one, why do I want it? Write it down. Safety, power, freedom. What is the desired feeling that you're seeking? The desired experience in your body, the sensation. Fear. I have a fear of. So for me, it's holding what's on the other side. I think Zuzu, that's also one for you. I think there was a few fears that came up for you, but it might just be like, I won't be validated. I'm going to do all this work and it's not going to work. And then I'm doing it wrong. And then I'm going to beat myself up. A lot of you are really hard on yourself if it doesn't work. And who wants to fucking deal with that? Space, right? So write down your fear, okay? Because you guys all have access to my tapping training. And so you can use this in between this week's call and next week's call to work on these things. And then I'll come in next week and do extra tapping and we're going to do some NLP and other stuff, maybe some hypnosis too. And you guys can tell me, say, hey, I really like NLP. Hey, I really love visualization. Hey, I really love, and NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. Or, hey, I really like that thing where we swish the thing. Like, you can tell me what you like. You love tapping. I know that's your thing. Yeah, cool. Love hypno. Yeah. And drop it, in heartbeat, especially if you guys love something I did. Be like, hey, can you do this? But like, instead of this, can you do it this way in visualization? Cool. Yeah, love this. Okay. All right. So now all we're going to do and so now you guys also have an understanding of how safe and how much you desire to be magnetic, because that's the other part of the puzzle when you don't fall asleep, right? I know. Right, right. So now that you're like, okay, do I feel safe? Okay, one last question before we go into tapping. How worthy do you feel of being magnetic to get clients with ease? How worthy do you feel of getting how worthy do you feel of being magnetic to get clients with ease? There we go. From your body, Tim being yes. Good, good, good. Okay. All right. So guys, I'm going to tap with you guys. And I know that we've got a few new people on here that maybe have never done my tapping. So I'm just going to go over it really quick. We may go over like 5 minutes. So if anybody needs to hop off, feel free. It'll be in the replay. So basically the way I do tapping is, and guys, I have 2 different tapping trainings. They're in the extra trainings. So you can scroll through. There's tapping 2.0, like tapping with your inner monologue. And then there's my original tapping that if you scroll down, you'll see it, which I feel like I might just redo a tapping video for you guys, but we'll see. Okay. So what I do is I do it 2 ways and I do it a little bit differently. So the first thing is we're tapping out any negative thoughts, feelings, sensations, right? And the verb and the verbalness that goes with it. Speech, yeah, like the words that go with it, right? Like the words that you would think in your brain while you're experiencing this. Okay. Then once that's out, we install the positive. And the way I do this is between your ring and pinky finger, there's like this hollow spot, and you just tap on it, saying and feeling the thing that you want to feel instead. Okay. And so my points, I kind of play around with them. And I guys, I want to be very, very clear. I say this over and over again, but it's so important. The reason I teach tapping this way is it's also because you guys have to learn how to trust yourself and not to always look to me or anybody else to tell you what you need, right? How many times to do it, what point to do it, how long to do it. To learn how to listen to yourself and your body and what you need, and learn how to build up that relationship, because that's the biggest gift I could ever give any of you, is to help repair that and to not look to anybody. Like, yes, I'm gonna lead you, but to feel safe for you to do it on your own without me needing to do it there with you, right? Okay, so I'm going to show you my points really quick, but if you guys feel like you need to add a point or take a point away or like stay longer on a point than I am, do that. Honor what your body needs, right? So my points lately have been here, 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 and here. So a lot of times you'll see tapping on the collarbone. I've started to do, it's like 2 fingers down on the right side, like a little bit outside. It's called the sore spot. You kind of feel it. It's a little tender, that spot. And another one that I really like is this one as well. Sorry, you guys can't really see that well. Right there, right? So those are my spots. And all we're going to do is we're going to think of everything that we want to let go that's getting in the way, right? So I can't be magnetic. I'm not safe to be magnetic. I don't know how to be magnetic. I feel exhausted. Clients drain me. Like anything that came out in this training that you no longer want to experience, feel, or think. Okay. And we're just literally going to tap on these while holding the sensation in our body. Because the way I do tapping is I want the sensation gone, right? We can work with feelings, emotions, and thoughts. That's a little bit of a level up. When you really clear things at a sensational level, it's totally different game. Where do these spots come from? Science. It honestly, it's not a scientific thing. I mean, there's studies on it, but there's still like, you have to think from a neuroscience perspective. There's a lot of things that they'll say, hey, this works, but we don't know how, right? Because they have to have a like studies have to be peer reviewed and it has to be lengthy and stuff like this. So you'll hear a lot of people talk about this and you can even Google it. But basically, it's one of those things where the East has been doing things for a long time that science is just now catching up to. So we don't really have the science behind why. And I don't, to me, I bridge the gap between the woo woo and esoteric and science, because science is great. And I love teaching you guys things from that perspective. But also, I'll always teach you things that like will work and maybe we don't know why. Yeah, meridian points, but we still like there's no scientific hardcore data on that, right? Like, so from a scientific perspective, I'm not going to say yes, because that's meridian points are like a scientific thing, right? Okay, so are you guys ready? So all I want you to think of is I want you to feel it in your body, right? So at the beginning, when I was talking about the fears, right? So fears of holding more clients, fears of sorry, I've got some stuff in my chest too. Fear of the success, fear of not being validated, fear of being seen, like all the things. How does that feel in your body? I can feel it already. It's in my chest, right? And the more you can notice about it, like any sort of color, where it is, anything like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to hold on to that sensation and we're going to say out loud the intention, hey, I I'm ready to let this sensation go. I'm ready to experience it differently. Because the truth is, the sensation is there just to give you the wisdom that there's a misunderstanding that your body is holding on to. Okay. So go ahead and say it out loud, like, I'm ready to let this go. I'm ready to see it differently. I'm ready to understand, like, now that I understand why it's there, I'm ready to let it go. Whatever feels right for you. And we're just going to start tapping, right? I am just feeling the sensation. And I am so ready to let it go. I'm so ready to see it differently. And I'm so ready to experience it differently. I know that it was here to give me information. I know that it's here just to give me wisdom, but I'm so ready to let it go. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Peace. So I always grab my wrist and I say peace here. Eventually that will become an anchor and you can actually skip the tapping. but you got to get in a really good habit of tapping for that to happen. And see, I didn't even tap here because I didn't feel like it. I didn't want to. It didn't seem right. But if you want that, that's good. So now notice how much less. So like, let's ask on a scale from 1 to 10, how much are you feeling that sensation still? 10 being like, yeah, it's really present, right? Because we always want to gauge. We want to make sure our work is working. We want to check our work, whether it's with ourselves or our clients. So how much is that sensation and all the negative stuff that we're letting go, how much is it still present in your body? 10 being like, yes, it's still here. Good. Okay. So also, I'm saying my words and I'm just going to keep passing through. If you need to mute me to say your own words because maybe mine don't resonate with you, mute me. But just to say the things, to just let it go, right? All right. So now that I'm really clear on why I want this, and I also have some clarity on why I might not want this and what my fear on the other side of it is, I'm so ready to just let that go. The truth is that I have these fears of holding unaligned clients and having to work too much and having these clients mirror to me things that are super uncomfortable, and I'm just so over it. It just feels so overwhelming. It literally like activates my body. It makes me feel overwhelmed in my nervous system, and I'm just so ready to let it go. I'm just so ready to let that go. And I'm also just noticing all these other stories that came up. Like, I don't even sure I'm worthy of being magnetic, of people just finding me with ease. I'm not sure even how to show up as my most magnetic self. I'm not even sure if I know how to be magnetic or if I'm worthy of being that magnetic and clients and money just being that easy. And I'm also just noticing a story that I don't know how to market. I don't know how to put myself out there in a way where I just get clients with ease. I don't know what to say. I don't know who I'm talking to. I'm just not sure. And I know that there's even a lot of fear here. There's a lot of activation in my body. And I'm just so ready to let it go. And I'm just noticing that there's been a shift in my body. There's some shift in the sensations. There's a shift in how I'm feeling. And right now, I'm just noticing how the rest of it feels in my body. Breathing deeply, noticing how I feel. And I'm just going to imagine that feeling and that sensation draining into the ground and just letting it go. I'm so ready to let it go. I'm worthy to let it go. I have shown up on this call to know what it needed to tell me, to have the wisdom that it needed to tell me. And I'm just so ready to let it go. I'm ready to let it go so I can actually install the positive and see the clear steps forward for things just to get to be easy. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Peace. And guys, you'll notice as things start to drain, you'll notice that you have a physiological shift. People yawn, they cry, they stretch. This is how you know that things are really moving. So on a scale from 1 to 10, how much is that still there? 10 being like yes. 2. Yeah. And noticing what you might need to know, like hear, like your story, like what I didn't like, because you guys dropped it in the chat and you wrote it down, your story, right? So like what you might need to hear. So guys, everywhere else where you're at, let me know, because we're going to install the positive and then we're going to bring this to next week's call. That it just gets to be easy and clients get to find us with ease and we just get to be magnetic as fuck. And we can also start getting really clear on like what that magnetic version of us looks like, right? Okay, so now I'm gonna ask you guys, um, can you feel and or see the most magnetic version of you? Is she there or can you feel it in your body? The best way is to feel it as a sensation, but sometimes we can't do that. Sometimes we have to find our in. So if we can't feel what that sensation feels like in our body, imagine the most magnetic version of you. And just like nod your head or like drop it in the chat so I know, because a lot of you guys have your cameras off. Good. And so I need to know where everyone's at. So like just noticing that you're there. I'm just starting to notice, like, how does that version of you walk and talk? How does that version of you look? Like, what is even the look of her eyes? Also, like with your spine standing straight. Good, perfect. So now all we're gonna do is we're gonna tap on this point, right? In between the ring and pinky finger, and we're just gonna tap. And we're gonna say all the things, whether it's I'm worthy to be magnetic, I'm safe to be magnetic. I do know how to market. I do know what to say to my clients. I know how to show up in a way where people hire me in the most easeful way. I want you to say the things that you desire. And then you can even go further than that. You can even say like the amount of money that you want and the space that you desire, right? So I'm going to start again. If my words don't resonate, pause me. Okay. Here we go. We're just going to tap here and we're going to tap and say the things until we either yawn or have a physiological response. Okay. I am safe to be magnetic. I am safe to show up as the most magnetic version of me. I am safe to hold more clients. I trust myself to hold more clients. I also know that I have the tools and the support that if people judge me online, that I know how to handle it. I know how to show up as the most magnetic version of me. I know how to sell my offers and receive money with ease. I know how to do things in my business with the least amount of friction as possible. Because the truth is that ease is how things go in nature. That's the most profound thing of nature. The only thing that's making it hard is me and my stories and my beliefs. And so now I just choose to let things be easy. I'm so worthy of things being easy. It just gets to be easy. I'm safe to have ease and flow in my business, and I'm safe to not only attract in and receive money with ease, but to hold it with ease as well. Ease is a feeling in my body, and I know what that feels like. Magnetic is a feeling in my body, and I know what that feels like too. And from the most magnetic version of myself, I get to decide when I'm going to go online and sell. Because the truth is that when I show up in this way, people buy, whether it's online or walking on the street or from a referral. We all know what that feels like. We all know what it feels like to have somebody compliment you because you feel magnetic. Maybe you look magnetic too, but you feel magnetic. Or for somebody to hire you out of the blue, or for somebody to refer you and pay in full from a referral. We all know what that feels like. There's all of us on this call know what it feels like to be magnetic and to let the things that we desire to be easy. It's safe for me to be magnetic. It's safe for me to create more space. It's safe for me to lead with alignment so I can hold more, attract in more, receive more, and hold more. I just get to be magnetic and I get to make money with ease. Oh. Okay, on a scale from 1 to 10, how magnetic do you feel right now? 10 being yes, answer from your body. Grounded 9. I love that. And also working on that groundedness when we feel good, but to make sure it feels grounded and not so up here. That's also really important. So, what are you going to go sell from this place? What are you going to go say? What are things that you have to say to the internet and magnetism? It's different for everybody. And it also, I'll be really transparent, it's different for me based on where I'm at in my cycle. I tend to be very like this, and I just know that there's times in my cycle where I'm not very magnetic, but I also do the work around that I don't have to be magnetic all the time to make money, because that's not true. We just want to be grounded in our magnetism, but we are humans and we're women and we get to be in cycle and we don't have to be magnetic every day all day long. That's not being, to me, being magnetic is to feel grounded and good, but also authentically you. And so that sometimes means not feeling good. But I will say that I think, to answer your question, the two things is to be okay with where I am and just honor how I'm feeling while being in brain body alignment with my desire, right? Because maybe I feel like shit in the moment, but I still am in brain body alignment and connection with the 10K month. I think a lot of people get really thrown off as like, well, how do I be magnetic when I feel shitty? Well, it's like, well, I feel shitty all the time. Doesn't mean people won't buy from me. Does that make sense? Yeah. And I'm very honest and forthcoming with my struggles. So I think that also is a part of my magnetism. I think people want to buy from people that understand the struggle and don't just paint themselves as like perfect and always on. Cause I don't know about you guys, but I'm not always on, you know, and I just get to be okay with that. And the magnetism, I think also, and I think everybody on this call that's bought from me who said they thought I was magnetic is also talking about things that really light me up. I get very passionate. I get very into it. My body feels bit, and you'll notice because your body will always feel open. It won't feel closed. When you're like doing a training and your body feels closed, there's something I hide when I'm off. Yeah. Yeah. And it's okay. And like if you want to hide, then just do your content. Like I try to get my content and stuff like that done when I'm ovulating, which is when I'm like the most magnetic, and try to do as many things as I can. But that's just for me. Maybe you guys aren't as like up and down as I am, you know, like that's what works for me. But allowing yourself to be okay in your off space is such a, for me, was a game changer. Just allowing myself to be okay in my not okayness. If that makes sense. And instead of beating myself up over it and saying, oh, I should show up differently or I should show up every day. No, I just get to show up the way I am, right? Yeah. And good to notice. Maybe your cycle is different. Sounds like you're more on like a that 3 month kind of cycle where I'm, you know, yeah, with seasons where I'm very monthly, right? So I think just noticing what feels the path of least resistance. For me, it's easy to go on and sell when I'm feeling good. So it's like, oh, my week of ovulation, that's when I feel my best. So I'm going to try to do as much of that type of stuff as I can, right? Okay, I hope this was helpful. I'll upload this in the replay and hopefully I'll see you guys next week and let me know how this goes. And then next week we'll do some like hypnosis, visualization, NLP for being magnetic and attracting in the things like, yeah, good. I'm glad. Attracting in things with ease and or like things kind of out of nowhere. Okay. All right, guys. I'll see you next week. Bye. Oh, yeah. Did I